Hey guys, back here again with another review, and today we're taking a look at the long-awaited Not All Heroes Wear Capes by perhaps the biggest trap producer in existence, Metro Boomin. Almost a whole year after his last credit even as a producer on a track. It is his first solo album, but technically his third studio. Jumping from artist to artist with collaborative tapes like Nav, Offset, 21 Savage, and Big Sean, since his first mixtape back in 2013 before he had really built himself a rep, this is his first time working alone. And even that isn't entirely true, with Travis Scott and 21 Savage lending a major hand in the credits on this album. And even on Spotify, they're labeled as by them as well as Metro Boomin, even though technically it is just Metro Boomin's album. It is somewhat justifiable as both of them do show up a multitude of times throughout the entire thing. Going back to late last year, Metro dropped the single No Complaints with Offset and Drake. This wasn't really labeled as the lead single for the album, as it was just kind of considered a one-off single, and even on the album it is just listed as a bonus at the end of it. And I wasn't really a big fan of it then or now either. I mean, just for starters, Offset, I do love his verses often, but his hook game is just kind of weak from time to time. And luckily he usually has Quavo to rely on, but here it just doesn't live up. The beat really isn't even that great either. While it is very clean and perfected, it just lacks a lot of originality and nuance that Metro had when he was first coming up with his very perfected style of trap beats that weren't really paralleled yet. And as time goes on, people are starting to really catch up to the quality that he is making it. Some are expanding into different branches, kind of making a bit more experimental here and there. But guys like Murda are just catching up and may eventually pass Metro in just how large of an artist they are. But of course, that song was a whole year ago, and a lot can change, especially since he has been working that entire time. And to be real, he somewhat has gotten better. For example, he has kind of added a more orchestral instrumentals throughout the entire thing, with hints of it just dropped here and there, like on the interlude Only One and Borrowed Love. However, it just doesn't happen often enough for it to really be that creative and original across the board, with a lot of it just being some pretty formulaic Metro production. Here and there, the features do deliver and kind of make up for the somewhat lackluster beats, with like on 10 Freaky Girls with 21 Savage and Dreamcatcher with Sway Lee, where he gives a pretty interesting verse with several different kind of cadences in it, as well as a very eerie hook that's great. But again, sadly, not all the features live up to what they should, and some just kind of come off as just cuts from their own work that didn't make their last album that got just shuffled onto this. And really not much innovation as far as lyrics go, with Travis and 21 typically just sticking to their guns of just money, women, and beefing with other people. One track does stick out in particular with The Topic. Although it isn't that original, it is pretty interesting on No More with Travis, 21, and Kodak Black. No More focuses on all kinds of different life experiences that they had gone through that could be seen as traumatizing, and then talking about how they cope using drugs and other ways to cope. And like I said, it isn't really that original of an idea, but from these artists it is kind of new to see this. Like typically I feel like we'd see this from like X and not Travis, Kodak, and 21 Savage. And lastly, the opening to the album I find is just very lackluster, with Gucci bringing nothing of interest to the table, and even though it's not even 4 minutes, it still feels like there's a minute too long of Gucci Mane. With a handful of tracks that do bring something to offer, the rest kind of fades with just kind of lackluster features, production, and originality and overall, and just kind of sounds like cuts from other people's albums. Metro does vamp up his production here and there, but it's so sparse that I couldn't really say that it's an overall improvement. And really at this point for him, he needs to be innovating kind of more than ever. Just like any other artist in any other genre, you can't stick to the same guns forever and expect to just stay at that high level of quality and fame and success. Eventually people are going to get tired and move on. And I almost feel like Metro is getting close to that point. So in the end, I'm going to give this album a 4. So let me know what you guys thought of the review, what you thought of the album, what I should review next. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow my Twitter and SoundCloud in the description below. So I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya. Bye.